And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the Line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your host, Andy Klassen, joined by
Jabron.
The Parlay Pounder.
You got it. We're back.
And now we're going to get back into your wheelhouse, and that is the UFC, because we got another good fight night coming up.
We do.
Out of Jacksonville, Florida, the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena in Jacksonville. I think they've been there a couple times, haven't they?
They have been, for sure. They love Jacksonville down there. They just love Florida in general.
Yeah.
The UFC does. No rules in Florida.
Yeah, well, yeah, we saw that a couple of years ago. Do what you want when you want.
Do what you want to do.
However you want to do it. So, yeah, you had Fight Island or Florida, whatever you want.
Whichever one you want. It's good stuff.
So you had your eye on a trio of fights we want to talk about here. Let's start on the main card with the heavyweight bout. That is Austen Lane taking on Justin Tafa. And I think we have Tafa with the minus 180 favorite.
Yeah. One thing I want to point out here, Andy, is talking about Jacksonville. Austen Lane was an actual draft pick of the Jacksonville Jaguars back in the day. And I remember one of Austen Lane's first fights in the UFC was against my boy Greg Hardy that played for the Carolina Panthers. So it was a couple of big NFL guys going up against each other. Greg Hardy did knock him out. So that's been years and years ago. So I just wanted to point that out. But he just talking about Austen Lane, he has been an interesting fighter to keep up with. The NFL, pro turn to the octagon after, failing to make an impact on the field. It happens for a lot of guys, but he has an impressive 11 knockouts.
Good record.
In his 15 bouts. So that's really
12-3 overall.
Exactly.
I mean, that's a nice record.
That's a lot of knockouts for 12 wins, Andy. And being in a heavyweight division, everybody expects you to be a big hitter and all that kind of stuff. But this guy actually is. On the other side, Justin Tafa is about as hit or miss as they come. He has posted a 3-3 record since making his UFC debut in 2019, and all three of his wins have come via first round knockout. Yeah. So he hasn't gone up against the toughest of competition, though. So Saturday night serves as a chance to truly prove himself. As that being said, I really do think the odds makers have this one wrong. I'm taking Lane on the money line as a perfectly fine option, but I am waiting until Saturday when those KO/TKO lines come out.
Okay.
I got Austen Lane by knockout. He is going to knock out Tafa, and it's going to be good odds. It's going to be up over plus 300 for the knockout odds, and I really believe that Lane gets it done here.
Well, just the money line is plus 150 on Lane, so you can get that in early. And if they, sometimes those lines kind of tighten up and even out, because there's at UFC.com there is not much out really on either of these guys.
And they're newer fighters, but they're not new to somebody that
15 fights under your belt,
somebody that watches as exclusively as I do. Keep in mind, Lane also enters this fight with a massive 6-inch height advantage and a 6-inch reach advantage. He is also someone capable of leaning on his cardio. Like I said, this is an NFL's player. This guy has cardio down to his foe, which does not bode well for Tafa, considering he has yet to win a UFC bout that has lasted beyond the first round. I think Austen Lane is the easy pick here. Take your plus money, run to the bank with it.
All right, I'm not going to argue that. I mean, just looking at the two guys side by side, Lane is in way better shape, or appears to be in better shape than Tafa, so that does make a lot of sense. Going the distance there, and you got to think Lane's going to try and stay out of harm's way because he knows Tafa's looking for that first round knockout.
You got it.
Let's move up the card here. Amanda Ribas, the lady out of Brazil, taking on Maycee Barber, the current number 11 contender in this weight class, and she is a plus 170 underdog. Is Barber?
Yeah. Like you said, Amanda Ribas made her way back to the flyweight division last May, but lost to Catalin Chahugan, which is one of the best female fighters out there, by a split decision in a return bout. Fortunately, the Brazilian, didn't let that loss keep her down, bouncing back at UFC 285 with a unanimous decision win. So another win for Ribas will be easier said than done. Maycee Barber. I really like Maycee Barber, Andy.
Well, last time we saw her on that pay-per-view, that was a lot of fun, and she just took care of business.
Exactly. She's one of my favorites in the women's division. Although momentum is on Barber's side, I really do got to go with Ribas here pulling out the victory. Barber was lucky to survive that fight that we're talking about. It was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
One of the better fights on the card, especially considering that she was taken down 5 times, Andy, and still came out with a victory.
Yep.
She now faces a dangerous grappler in Ribas, who averages two takedowns per 15 minutes and a 52% accuracy. So she is really going to have to step up that defense game a little bit against Ribas. Both women know how to avoid being finished, so don't be surprised if Ribas takes the distance, takes it to the distance, and wins by decision.
Yeah, it goes all 3 rounds, right? Because it's one of the underfights, not one of the main events. And she is, I didn't mention it, she's the minus 200 money line favorite here.
Yeah.
And for good reason. But, man, it is kind of hard to get away from Barber. And just that last time you saw her out. And they got very similar records here.
Oh, yeah.
12-3 for Ribas, 12-2 for Barber, and both are coming off a couple wins here too.
No, and like I said, you got to give it up to the odds makers, the fight makers right here, because this is a really good women's fight, and there's a reason it's so far up on the card. It's because it's going to be one of the best fights of the night. Like we said, neither one of these women is going to get finished. So either way you're looking at this, take it by decision on the other for the gal that you want to win.
By decision. You won't catch any flack from the parlay pounder.
You will not. Not.
Let's move on to the main event. This is a featherweight bout featuring the number 5 contender in the world, Josh Emmett, versus Ilia Topuria out of Georgia, the number 9 contender. And the number 9 contender is a heavy favorite here at minus 325. Yeah. Josh Emmett, plus 270 underdog.
Yeah, exactly. Topuria is clear favorite. And did we say this was on ABC? I believe it is.
Yes.
El Matador, Topuria has won 5 straight fights to begin his UFC career, improving to a 14-0 overall, Andy. He has finished each of his last opponents as well, most recently notching a submission over one of my favorites, Bryce Mitchell, in a featherweight return at UFC 282. So that goes a long way with me. But meanwhile, Josh Emmett looks to rebound after falling to capture the interim title against Yair Rodriguez at 284, where he had lost by a submission. So, kind of separate paths here, Andy. Like we've been saying, Josh Emmett, he was fighting for a belt. And he lost it. Can you bounce back and go after Topuria, who is, on the trajectory to get the next title fight with these, 14-0? So this is a really, really good fight. There's a reason that it's the main event.
Is the ascension going to continue for Topuria, or is Emmett going to continue to fall? Because he's coming off that his last fight was a loss. That submission, as you mentioned, and that's what all the headlines are saying is, can Emmett get it back? Can he get it back?
Exactly. That said, Emmett, was on a 5-fight winning streak before he did that. So, and he has yet to lose back-to-back fights during his 12-year career, Andy. That's why this is so fun of a fight to watch. So, although Emmett has bounced back in the past, I don't see it happening here, Andy.
Not here.
He showed he was susceptible to against Rodriguez and to a good grappler in that loss. Now he fights Topuria, who averages over 2.5 takedowns and 2.5 submissions per 15 minutes. Yeah. On top of that, Topuria is also more accurate with striking at 49% to Emmett's 37%. If they, decide to exchange blows. With how easily Topuria has finished his competition thus far, it's clear that Emmett will I think, be his latest victim. So I got Topuria. There's a reason the line where it's at right now at minus 300 to minus 350, wherever you find it. If you really want to get into it, I just found some methods of victory, Andy, and Topuria by submission is at a plus 140 right now, which is, if you were going to sprinkle something on it, that's what I would do.
Okay, I was wondering if you're going to get into that. Do you have a parlay?
I do, and it's just a 2-teamer. And
let's hear it.
It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy.
It's out there. Okay,
but it's Austen Lane to win by TKO. Like I said, sitting there at plus 225.
Wow.
I do believe these odds will get better. So if you get it closer to Saturday, do it because it's only going to get better odds for Austen Lane. So I got that at plus 225 right now, and then I got a man at Ribas to win by decision, only at a plus 100 right now. You add all that up, it's at a plus 550. Put $25 on it, getting back 162. You cannot beat that. It's going to be, changing my pocket because that's happening.
And that's why they call him the Parlay Pounder, folks. Right there, just a two-teamer. But just look at the ROI, the return on investment.
It should be pretty fun.
All right. Well, that'll about do it for us this week. Be sure to follow us on ESPN Tri-Cities Radio and our Twitter account, podcast_WTL. Easy to remember, isn't it?
It is.
And please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That thing has really taken off.
Yeah.
We're bringing out more and more content, short videos, those YouTube shorts, and the CWS. You've been killing it. I put a couple pics in there.
For sure.
And then, we've had some guests that have done very well on
no
it
doubt.
that we've been able to feature.
Please go check it out.
Also got those free daily picks over on TikTok. So if you are one of those TikTokers, we're on that as well.
We're on there as well.
For Joe Baran, the Parlay Pounder, I'm Andy Klassen. Thank you for listening. This has been WTL.